Okay, we are live. Hey guys, it's Landon here. I got Jeremy with me. This is Creation Discussion 3. We're going to be talking about kind of just really whatever we want to talk about. I titled the video Creation Discussion 3 Speciation and Kinds, but we're kind of just going to talk about whatever we want to talk about because one of the things I was going to mention we can talk about some of Standing for Truth's last few debates. We can also talk about the presentation I did and your debate. Was it last night, Jeremy? We can talk about that too. Um, so, is there anywhere you want us to start on? Any specific topic or?
You, it's up to you. Well, whatever. I'll follow your what you call that in English. Your lead.
Okay.
Your yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever you want.
Okay. Well, we'll start by talking about your debate last. It was last night, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
It was afternoon here. It was nighttime
Yeah.
in your place.
Yeah, it was a long. It went on. The whole debate was like over 3 hours. So I mean, it was a long debate. But
Yeah, it was.
I mean, I agree that I do think that you won. I think that you just had the upper hand throughout the discussion, and I think you kind of backed Snake into a corner a little bit a few times, and you kind of you kind of
I
pressed
didn't
him for
mean.
answers.
I didn't mean to be rude on him. He seems to be a fine person, but
Yeah,
but the problem is it's okay to say you don't know. I in that debate, I said when I was talking, I, I was honest enough to say I forgot this, I forgot that. But Snake, he does he either he changes topic or he just keeps on fighting. I told him, as I recall, if you don't know, it's okay. Just say I don't know.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. It's one of the first some. It's one of the lessons that we learn in school. Sorry, in law school. Is it law school? So it's just kind of basic. If you don't know, just say you don't know. Is the word humble? Is it
yeah.
humility?
Humble.
Yeah, right. I said when I said a lot of times I don't know yesterday. If I don't know, I'd say it. I even said I forgot many times, as I recall. I know it wasn't yesterday, the debate. It was 2 days, it was the other day ago. Yeah, so I did say a lot of, I forgot, I don't know, as I recall. I don't know if you noticed. As I recall, I said I don't know, I forgot many times. But still, they said I won. So I won, then I won.
Yeah, I
I
mean
don't.
it was a long debate. I mean, I do agree. I think you did win. It was very entertaining. I mean, I wish I could have said something throughout the debate, but of course, I was on the other computer and I couldn't get my mic to work for some reason. The mic just will not work on that computer. I don't know why, but I mean, I didn't. I wasn't going to say much anyway because I knew it was mostly for you and Snake, so I just was going to keep mostly quiet anyways. But
Well, yeah, the debate started peacefully, actually. But as it progressed, my illness got into me, and snake's resistance kept on growing. So I kept on getting pissed and pissed and pissed. Oh,
yeah,
sorry for saying the word piss.
no,
I,
it's okay.
I, I don't know really how to say the right English sometimes. Angry, yeah, angry. So it just went out of control somewhere, but it did regain control. Standing for Truth did intervene to and praise I am that I am the other
Yeah,
guy. also told Snake to get back on topic.
Oh
There's so
yeah,
many times. Yeah, there's so many times when he couldn't answer anything. He just goes away to, an, to another topic. He kept on going to doctrine or the oil companies not hiring creationists. What does that have to do with anything in the debate? I kept on asking him that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know.
that's really all
Okay,
about the debate. There's nothing more I can add about it. The data. It was a 3 hour debate, so a lot was covered. We were supposed to debate flood, rapid speciation, the dating methods, and the biblical
you there, Jeremy?
kinds.
Okay, I think it was lagging for a second. I couldn't hear you. Can you hear me?
How
Okay.
about now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear.
Yeah, I think it's just a connection issue, maybe.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay,
So
my mic stopped again.
yeah, it's okay. So
Yeah,
my suggestion is this: the original, but it's up to you. It's your lead, like I said. It's your channel, so it's your decision making. So it's up to you. But since the plan the other day was blood rapid speciation kinds and dating. We didn't talk about dating and kinds at all. So I don't know. Maybe we talk about those or even astronomy. Well, up to you. Up to you. Anything you want to discuss. Your specialty or
yeah.
germs or something.
We can we can go over standing for truth's last few debates. Especially, I mean, you thought that he did really good with his debate with Erica, didn't you?
Yes,
The
but
one over.
Erica did well also.
Yeah, I think both of them did well, but I think he did better though.
Yeah,
I
he
think
did.
that I think that I think a lot of things that when you debate, I think both of them probably had stuff they wanted to say, but they didn't get to get to say. Because when you're in a debate, it's like like the heat of the moment. You don't get. I think if they had like another hour, they probably could have just discussed things in way more detail. I mean, they already did discuss it in detail, but there's probably a lot more that they had left that they wanted to say, or there's probably some stuff that they had left to they wanted to mention.
They spoke so fast. It was nonsense.
Hold on, I think it's lagging again. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, is it your side or my side?
Maybe it's both of our sides. I mean, maybe we're both having some issues with stuff. I don't
It,
really. It's just it seems
uh,
like it's lagging for you, and for me, my mic is cutting off. I don't know.
what do you mean? Which one is lagging? The sound or the internet connection?
It looks like the sound for you is lacking, and the screen just kind of freezes.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's happened like twice. I mean, I don't think it's okay right now.
But it never happened before.
Yeah, I don't know. It could be my end. I'm not really sure, but I mean, we can just keep going. I don't think it's anything. It's not a big deal.
Okay, so where do we go now?
We were talking about the standing for truth Erica debate,
Ah, yes,
and
yes.
yeah, I mean, I did think that he had won. I don't know if I mean I think they both did their best, but I know that modern day debate. A lot of times, atheists they just kind of swarm the comment section, and they a lot of them they try like um but there were people in the chat saying, yeah, standing did win because, but yeah, I mean, it seems like modern day debate though, the atheists just love to flood the chat over there.
Yeah, swarm. If they hate us, I hate them 10 times more. No, not all atheists, of course. Some atheists are good, like Snake. I don't hate Snake. Was right, but I hate the others, the ones that are swarming the chats. Those are the ones I hate 10 times. If they hate us one time, at 1 or 2 times, Hitler, types of people. If we go to a world war, I think they will act like those Stalins and Hitlers and Mao Zedongs. I don't care
Right.
if they're here.
Hold on. Let me.
And they heard me.
Yeah, I'm gonna go and see. I'm gonna make sure everything looks smooth on the YouTube, the version of the stream. I'm just okay. I think it's okay. It was lagging a little bit, but I
Yeah,
think it's
I can also sorry, the English for lagging is exactly what does lagging mean?
it means like something's take. It's like it's almost like it's frozen. It's taking longer to happen. I guess you could say it's like in a
Time
video
dilation. Time,
game. If something is moving slowly and not moving right, then it's lagging.
so it's kind of like fluctuating. You mean?
Yeah, a little bit. Um, I don't think.
Is maybe it's time dilation. You're in the west. I'm in the east.
Yeah, that could be it because I don't
Time
see any
dilation.
problem.
Time
Oh yeah,
dilation. It
I
could be
was
that.
yeah I was gonna mention this real quick because you mentioned time dilation. Have you ever played the game? It came out last October. It's called The Outer Worlds.
No.
It's a
Uh,
Yeah, it's an
I,
RPG. It's an RPG game that the some of the two of the guys that made the original Fallout games, they made it, and one of the things that your character gets is an ability called tactical time dilation, and you can slow down time. It's really
uh,
cool. But
yeah,
yeah,
StarCraft also has that. When I was a teenager, we loved StarCraft so much. It
oh
was
yeah,
our yeah, it was an addiction. There's Zerg, Protoss, and the other one I forgot. One of those three has some kind of a time dilation ability. I
yeah. I
forget
mean,
which
this
one.
Dishonored kind of has something like that. Like the my avatar, which is Dal. He had a
Yeah,
ability. He could stop time while he's not moving before he
yeah.
blinked. And yeah, that was another cool thing.
But the Dishonored, it sorry, I'm stammering. Uh, it yeah, this is one of the consequences of my illness.
It's
It
okay.
it you cannot. It's just one view, right? You cannot make it. I forgot what it's called. You cannot.
Well, it's entirely first
It's only
person.
one view. Yeah, first person. You cannot
Yeah.
make it. Yeah, yeah. The out. Forgot what. Even games, even in gaming, I forgot. See, it's another consequence of my. It's memory loss too. It's the disease is affecting everything in my mind. But anyway, yeah, gaming. We could. That's not our topic, really.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's something I kind of want to bring it up because I know you brought up time dilation, so I was just going to mention that. But
Yeah.
yeah, we can move back on topic. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much all to say about standing and Erica's debate. I know that he
But
had made a response video to her, and then she made a response video to him, and they were both arguing about whether or not the standing and her they were arguing about whether or not the those footprints were actually footprints.
Hmm. Yeah. Uh, both sides cannot control themselves. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. In my view, I think that if the footprints were, if they were more like in accordance to what was the like the standard like accepted timeline, I think that people would be less likely to criticize it. I think that because it doesn't fit, then it becomes more problematic. I think that's I'm not. I'm just saying that I think that people are people, and people have their people are biased. That goes
so
for everybody.
sorry. What do you mean? People are people.
I'm saying like people, even these like people that like a lot of the evolutionists that say, we don't have a bias, we're objective, but they really do have. Everybody's got a bias. Everybody's and see they kind of are more. Or everybody is more inclined to think a certain way, I believe, and I think a lot of times atheists and the evolutionists kind of act like they don't have that. They're not like that, and but I think that they don't. Some people just they don't want things to be a certain way, or they do want things to be a certain way. I'm just kind of saying that the evolutionists and atheists they have a bias too, even though they don't acknowledge it.
Yeah, because they're liars. They know it. They stole science. Science was started by uh, mostly Christians during the 17th and 18th century. Actually, evolution almost never, almost didn't make it out of the 1900s because Louis Pasteur and some great scientists were already there to eradicate it. But somehow it was able to slip when
Yeah, I
Darwin
mean, oh, go
when
ahead.
Darwin yes,
Oh, you can go ahead.
yeah, when Darwin published his book, at first all scientists rejected. And after 10 years, most scientists rejected. And after another 10 years, half of the scientists rejected. And then it slowly got accepted. But Louis Pasteur and the others were there. They were the more better and more smarter scientists. They tried to stop the momentum, but somehow it still slipped. It slipped. I have no problem if it's theistic evolution that slipped. My problem is the atheist evolutionary uh, side of evolution that slipped.
Yeah. Well,
That's my
I kind of thought about making a video though in relation to Charles Darwin, kind of describing why he shouldn't get as much credit as he does for evolution, because it's not he didn't come up with the idea of evolution. That's kind of I think a lot of people are kind of led to believe that, but the idea existed. I think like thousands of years. I mean, it's not like anything new. I had to I believe I have an entry in one of my Bibles that talks about how a lot of these ideas were discussed like way back, like 2, 3,000 years ago, something like that. And
I don't think it was the same evolution that Charles Darwin wrote about. I mean,
yeah, I mean
the,
his was more like I would kind of just
those
say
are like
like the general idea was there.
I'm not so sure, but the way I see it is just before it was believed as a myth, kind of like
Yeah,
uh, yeah. So the idea was there, yes, but it's kind of like an archive of fictional something,
yeah,
so something, whatever it's called.
yeah.
Yeah.
I guess we can move on to. I guess we've already discussed standings debate with Erica. We can discuss, I guess, the presentation of the idea if you want to.
Actually, I don't remember much of their debate because it's hominids, right? I am not so. That is not my field. The hominids and standing for truth knows that. So I cannot comment much on that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the
So
topic was mostly over human evolution, and I mean that's not my like specialty either. But yeah, that was pretty much the
yeah,
topic.
but they did talk about the dating methods. And
Yeah, I believe
yesterday, or
so.
the other day, I was supposed to talk to Snake about dating methods too, but it never went there because you know what happened. So two missed opportunity. Uh, yeah, they uh, standing for truth did not. Standing for truth and Erica did not go too deep into the dating methods, and Snake and I did not go into dating methods at all. So it's up to you. If you want, we could also talk about that, or it's up to you. Up to you.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to go into it a little bit, we can. I know that if there's anything you want to say, I mean, you can go ahead and say it. I mean, I know that the dating methods, that's not my specialty either, but if there's anything you want to say about it, I mean, you can go ahead and say it.
Okay. Where do you want me to start? At the beginning. It's really
Uh,
a complex the dating method thing.
I mean, you can just give kind of maybe a shortened version of it, I guess, if you want to. Just to like an intro.
So okay. Radioactive dating. We know that all elements have atoms, right? And
Yeah.
all elements are full of atoms. They have a number also of special electrons and protons. Uh, yeah, protons, neutrons, electrons in the atom. Uh, uh, and they are almost exactly the same size. And they are composed. What's the English again? They make up the nucleus, the proton and the which one again? The electron are exactly the same size as I recall, and they exhibit the right English. They they have electrical charge that are opposite, and opposites attract. So protons and electrons do attract each other. Electric charge, if people don't know, is the force, the force, not the Star Wars force. Why the heck did I say it? Because I like Star Wars. I have a Battlefield, Star Wars Battlefront. You play
Oh,
that?
really? No, but
Uh,
my brother is actually he played it, and our like family friends has played it with him. It seems pretty fun.
yeah, it is. It is very good actually. But the problem is there are only, there are only four maps. There's no other. But they did have a second version of it which has a story. But
Yeah.
the first version only four maps. Actually, even sorry, sorry, we're talking about dating.
No,
All
it's
right,
okay.
uh, it's okay to talk about games.
I mean, if you want to, we can spend a few minutes on it. I mean, this is kind
Well,
of
we already did a while ago.
yeah. I guess that's true. I mean, we can just move on. Yeah, you can continue on dating
Okay,
if you want to. I mean,
forgot where I left.
we're just kind of you're talking
Electric.
about atoms.
Yeah, and yeah, and those protons and the neutrons, they attract each other. They have the opposite electric charge, so they attract each other. And an electric charge is the force. So it's me who opened up the gaming thing. So
No, I mean it's
the
okay.
Force in Star Wars.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So I'm sorry. It was my mistake for opening up the gaming here. It is the force that is carried by the protons and electrons. That's the meaning of electric charge. The electron is the carrier of the electricity of all solid materials, not liquid, solid only. Okay. I might miss a few things, but these are the basics. People need to know the basics before they know about the radiometric dating. So this is kind of like a a nutshell lesson for those who don't know about dating. So they will learn from your channel, from us, how radiometric dating is done. Okay, so I think those are the basics. I hope people understand. That's the easiest and best way I could explain it honestly. I don't know how to explain it more easily, but I think
Can you hear me, Jeremy?
that yes, yes, I
Okay,
can
it
hear
was
you.
it was lagging
It,
again. I don't know. See, I don't know if it's lagging on the actual video, like on YouTube, or it's just lagging here in the or in the, like the broadcast studio. I don't. So it may not be showing any lagging on the actual video, but for me, it's like
how
I couldn't
many?
hear you.
How, how long did it last?
Um, 4 or 5
Few
seconds.
seconds.
Yeah,
Okay, okay.
but yeah, I mean it stopped now. I mean I think you're it shows
For
that you froze
another,
up again.
it happened. It happened several times, I think, during my debate with Snake.
Yeah, I mean sometimes just issues
Sent
like
with
this are unavoidable. I mean you know, but yeah, I don't know why it could be on your end. I don't know if it's okay. But yeah,
so where we protons. Yeah, a proton is the carrier of electricity in all solid materials, like I said. But it has, again, I already said this. It has the opposite electric charge, and electric charge attracts protons and electrons attract each other. Then a neutron has the same mass as a proton. Okay, we learned this at school, but it doesn't have electric charge. Okay, but this is the difference between protons and electrons to neutrons. Neutrons has the same, but it has the same mass with proton, but it doesn't have the electric charge that the proton and electron has. Okay, and it's the amount of atom that can vary. Yeah, it's the amounts in the atom that 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 can vary on different elements. Okay, so now we're really getting into the radioactive dating. So you have to understand the basics first. So I think I did do it step by step, or maybe I missed a step. So forgive me. I cannot remember everything. And going back to the neutron, like I said, it has the same mass as a proton, but it doesn't have electric charge. Okay, and and the things in the atom can vary on different elements. Okay, did it lag again?
no, I don't think so.
Uh, it did.
No,
It did.
I don't think it did.
Okay, and again, the neutron. Keep on repeating myself. The neutron is the same mass as proton, but don't have electric charge. Okay, so that's the difference between neutron and protons and electrons. Protons, electrons have this electric charge which attract. And then a neutron has the same mass as a proton, but they do not attract. But this neutron does not have electric charge, and it's the amount in the atom uh, that vary on different elements. Yeah, like I said, we are going to the specific dating now. And when they vary on different elements, it's then called isotope. I think those who know dating know isotopes very well. So, an isotope is a chemical. It's an element in an atom that has a different number of neutrons. Okay, remember what I said about neutrons. So isotope is an element. A chemical element inside an atom that has a different number of gosh, I just said neutrons. Okay, and there are two types of isotope. There's parent and daughter isotope. Uh, Atoms of several elements have so many neutrons, so they become unstable isotopes. Okay, too much neutron equals to unstable isotopes, and these unstable isotopes decay. All right, we're really going to radiometric now. So the basics are there. Now we're really getting there. So the isotopes. So this is the parent and daughter isotope meaning. Okay, this is the meaning of parent and daughter isotope. Atoms again of different elements or several elements, not all. Is it lagging again? No, no, everything is fine.
No, yeah, so it's okay.
Okay, I thought it's lagging again. Uh, so atoms of elements, not all of them, have so many neutrons in them, then they become unstable isotopes. Okay, keep in mind unstable isotopes, and these unstable isotopes decay, and then they remove some of their particles to be stable again. Okay, so unstable isotopes are the parent isotope. Okay, remember that. Can you see my hands?
Yeah.
Yeah, these are the parent unstable isotopes, and these isotopes decay, and by removing some of their particles by those decayed particles to be stable again. Sorry. This by removing. Sorry, I'm sorry. I forgot that. By removing some of their particles to be stable again. This process is called radioactive decay. The decaying, yeah, radioactive decay. So the decay is called parent isotope. Okay, and when it's stabilized, because like I said before, this unstable decay removes some of their particles to be stable again. So this isotope decay is the parent, and it releases the particles, and those particles are called daughter isotopes, so that it becomes stable again. Because isotope decay, when it decays, it becomes unstable, right? It's
Yeah.
obvious, and that's the parent. That's the parent parent. That's the parent that I was talking. Parent isotope, and when it becomes stable again, it becomes the daughter isotopes. The samples I can give for parent daughter isotopes are let's say uh, parent isotopes and daughter isotopes. Carbon decay to nitrogen, uranium decay to lead. I mean, carbon becomes unstable, uranium becomes unstable, and then carbon becomes nitrogen. Nitrogen, when carbon decays, and then the decay, and the nitrogen stabilizes it. Then uranium to lead, uranium decays, and the lead stabilizes it. Okay, and so on. Potassium, argon, and so on. And parent and daughter decay. The parent and the daughter decay trend. Uh, yeah, okay, sorry, I was confused there. So how does it work? This process. How do we do it in a laboratory? How do we do radiometric dating? For example, a rock is tested for this. It's actually simple. Actually, it's easy. It's easier. It's easy. A rock is tested, for example, for its parent for its parent and daughter for its parent and daughter isotopes. All minerals, rocks, fossils. They have this parent and daughter. So that's the basis for radiometric dating. Okay, so the rocks are tested. Okay, parent and daughter isotopes. An hourglass, an hourglass is a good example here, or it's a analogy. It's a good analogy here. The sand on top of the hourglass. Let's pretend. Let's pretend the sand on top of the hourglass is the parent, and the sand below is the daughter. Okay. The parent isotope, like I said, it decays, right? When it goes down, it its particles, it goes down. Those particles are like the sand inside the hourglass. Okay, so it goes down. It goes down to the where? Daughter isotope, which stabilizes it, like I said. So I think I'm explaining it very well, I hope. Yeah. And this falling process, its rate of falling process is the radioactive decay uh, analogy. So it's as simple as that. That is how we measure the dates. Okay, the parent is the time. So the decay rate is measured by by the, the the decay rate is measured by how much time the parent hourglass and sand falls on the daughter hourglass. Sorry, I already said that. I repeated myself.
Oh, it's
So that's,
okay.
that's so that's how it works. That's how it works. Any questions? Uh,
Um,
are we gonna use this to refute the evolutionary argument?
but
It's up to you. What do you think we should do? Are we gonna debunk or talk about the
um,
war between the dating methods of creationists and evolutionists? What do you think?
um, I guess we can try to we can try to debunk it, like you were the first suggestion, and then we can do
Uh,
that.
debunk. I don't think debunk is the exact word. What I mean is try to make it a worldview thing
Yeah.
instead, because both sides have a point. Yes, I can in a way debunk it, but atheist evolutionist, not theistic evolution. I have no problem with evolutionary creationists. My problem is with atheistic evolutionists, which I hate so much. Okay, so I'll just refer to atheist evolution. These atheist evolutionists. Okay, okay. Uh, okay, one of our ways to refute their their dating methods are the initial conditions of the rocks. Okay, and I remember when Standing for Truth was debating with Erica, uh, the initial conditions of the rocks was brought up. We don't know the initial conditions of the rocks are not known by geologists because they weren't there when the rocks formed. So they don't know. For example, how do they know how many atoms and know how many atoms are in this element and how many and if there are no elements of this atom, something like that. And Erica, as I recall, countered it. She didn't name the method how she countered it, but she countered it using the isochron method. That's what I noticed. She didn't say the word isochron, but I know what she's talking about. She was talking about the isochron method over there. The isochron method is actually a good method to determine the initial condition of rocks. Okay. The isochron method means that if you test several samples of rocks using a particular type of dating method like lead to lead or carbon to nitrogen, something like that. If let's say we use five dating methods, the first two I mentioned, and then the last three I don't need to mention. Let's say if those five give a more or less same dates or close dates, then we could infer the initial conditions are correct. So that's the isochron method. Okay, so that is Erica's refutation against Standing for Truth. Now, if we're gonna dispute this, I do it this way. For example, we have not tested all the rocks in the world. Yes, we did test a lot, and they did pass the isochron test, but some did not pass the isochron test. So they just ignore it because of their worldview. Okay, they just hide it, something like that, and don't publish it. Okay, because it will interrupt their worldview. But like I said, most isochron tests that they made were accurate and successful. So I'm being fair here. I'm being fair. Okay, and like I said, not all rocks in the world were tested. Right? Not all rocks. There was a volcano. I live in the Philippines that just exploded several days ago, and it's still unstable today. I'm sure isochron method wasn't tested there yet. I will know if it's accurate or not. They would give the same dates right now. I'll just give one example of how bad, of how an isochron could fail. Okay, just one example because there are a lot of examples I can give, which is in evolutionary literature, but they just don't publish it. But I don't. But I know how to read their literature, so I do understand what they are trying to hide. Okay, for example, in the Grand Canyon, um, let's say, what example can I use? In the let's say basalt, the what's that? Cardenas basalt in of the Grand Canyon. If you if you use potassium argon, for example, it would reveal 500 million years. Okay, the decay rate hourglass I was talking about. the sand going down, the unstable element here, and when it goes down, it becomes stable, and then the rate of it, that is how we do the dating. Okay, so several of these were done on the rocks at the Cardenas basalt of the Grand Canyon using potassium argon. That's one, and it revealed about 500 million years. Okay, uh, and then they used rubidium strontium to date the same rock, Cardenas basalt, and it's doubled by 1 billion years, from 500 million years to 1 billion years. So that's a huge gap. And this is just two methods. To this is only This is only potassium argon and rubidium strontium. And there is also samarium, samarium, samarium something. Is again, when they tested it on these rocks, it again doubled. It showed 1.5 billion years. So first 500 million, the next 1 billion, and next 1.5 billion. So are they close? Landon, are they even close?
No.
Look at the difference. And even moon rocks reveal the same thing. And I could give a lot more samples around the world. Yes, like I said, most of the isochrone method works. Most rocks are accurately are reveal the same age, but there are many samples too that are inconsistent, like the one that I just said. So that is my counter to Erica, in which standing for truth, because they don't have enough time, they talk so fast. Uh, so standing for truth was not able to address this because they were talking so fast. The topics are shifting. Okay,
Yeah, it's
so
hard.
that's
It's hard
one.
to it's hard to
And
cover everything.
yeah, um, yeah. But here's one of the best evidence, but not the best, but one of the best evidence that young Earth creationists can counter the the we're now moving away from the yeah, there's still, I think there's still some isochron here, if I'm not mistaken. This is another problem of uh, of atheist, not theistic, atheistic radioactive decay assumption. They assume a constant decay rate of rocks, meaning unchanging decay of rocks. The rate right now is the same for the past 500 million years. Okay, how can you extrapolate that long, that's so long? Are you sure nothing happened within 500 million years that that changed the decay rate somehow? Yeah, that made the constant decay rate, that compromised the decay rate. Hmm? For example, when the meteor strike, it would contaminate some rocks. Although atheist evolutionists have a way to determine if a rock is contaminated or not, it's still not enough to determine if a rock is contaminated or not. There are holes there. So, for example, Precambrian rocks, we are told are 500 million years old. So why must decay rate have constant at today's measured rate? We're talking about 500 million years ago. Are you kidding me? What? Why should we assume a constant because they are using uniformitarianism. That is one of their primary tools, ways uniformitarianism is used here. And sometimes it's not reasonable. How can you extrapolate 500 million years of constant decay rate based on today's rate? Only 100 years. How can you do that? Even today's rates are changing a bit. So if it's changing a bit now, what about the past? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. For example, let's say, just one example because we're running out of time. Do you want to say something later after this?
Yeah. I guess we can discuss part of my presentation after that, and then I guess we can just wrap it up.
Okay. All right. For example, let's say just last one, and
Okay.
then we could go to you because I give examples on everything. So I also give one here. I'll do my best to make it short. Radio
Okay.
halos, right? During the global flood, radio halos, for example, that we observe today. Uh, During the global flood, it 100 million years worth of radioactive decay happened during the global flood alone. Okay, uh, that is why some rocks are millions of years, millions of years. Oh, sorry, radio halos. I'm lost. Uh, During the global flood, 100 million years of accelerated. My English is really not good. We speak Chinese here in the. At least I live in the Philippines, but I'm in Chinatown, so we speak English. Chinese is my first language, actually. English is my third. It's not even my second. Uh, my second is Tagalog or Filipino language. 100 million years of decay rate happened during the flood, for example, for these radio halos alone. Okay, particles of radio halos, let's say alpha particles, okay, are ejected. Okay, don't forget what I talked about before about the parent and daughter isotopes. Okay, are alpha particles, okay, are in the uranium atom, and the uranium atom, the alpha particles of the uranium atom decay into lead atoms. Okay, they decay unstable, the uranium atoms, and then they decay to lead atoms. Right, they decay, and then it stabilized to the lead atoms. Okay, these are alpha particles are kind of like tiny guns. Sorry, guns, bullets, which shoot crystals, sorry, zircon crystals, causing the crystals to have color. What's the English again for that? I know the word in Chinese, but in English, it causes the crystal, the zircon crystal, to have discoloration. Ayon, that's it. Discoloration or damages it. It causes the crystals to get damaged because it is a bullet, right? Like I said, those alpha particles. Okay. So where the bullets stop shooting, the crystals then produce the most damage, radio halos. I think people should know what radio halos are. Okay, it produces the most damage at the vicinity. Not sure vicinity is the correct English here. Uh, at the what do you call that? the the what do you call that? Something that is at the
Like a radius, or
radius. Yeah, shucks, my English really weak on my English.
no, that's
Uh,
okay.
uh, yeah, so it produces. much damage because those are alpha particles shoot at those crystals, so they produce the most damage, uh, producing darkened rings along the radio halos. Okay, the halo. So a fully formed rock, radio halo, needs 500. Uh, a fully dark radio halo need 500 million years to 1 billion years of our alpha particles. Okay, so with that much decay is equals to 100 million years. Like I said at the start, if you recall, 100 million years of accelerated decay measured by today's decay rate. Okay, so for example, let's say granites all over the world contain these radio halos. Okay, granites around the world. Granite. We should know what granite. You should know what people should know what granites are. It's one of our elements. Granites all over the world contain these radio halos. These granules, these granites around the world showed 100 million years of decay at today's rate. And these granites are in the sedimentary rocks with the fossils. Okay, so the granites alter. By the way, the granites do alter its composition. Composition the right is what what is the English for? I wish I could speak Chinese here. Uh, so the granites after its I think it's composition. The granites alter its composition in the ground. Okay, so it means the granite formed after sedimentary rocks formed with the fossils in them. So when did the fossils form? During the flood. It means 100 million years of radioactive decay of granites had to occur during the flood. And remember, all granites are found all over the world in sedimentary rocks. This is one evidence that radioactive decay accelerated during the flood. That is why we dated it was dated 100 million years and through radio halos. Okay, I think most atheist evolutionists out there are even dumb to understand this. So for those smarter ones, here I go. This is one way I can debunk you animals. Okay, so atheist evolutionists, not theistic evolutionists. Okay, I have no problem with theistic evolutionists. So keep that in mind. I have 5 more evidence against this. So 100 million years worth of accelerated decay happened during the flood. So a constant decay rate is not reasonable. It is sometimes, most of the time. But in this global flood scenario, it is not reasonable. I gave you radioactive, gave you radio halos, and I can give you more examples. That's how angry I am at atheist evolutionists. Atheist evolutionists. Not all atheists, there are good ones, but those from non sequitur, those are the ones I hate. To the bone. And I think some of them know that already. Sorry for. So your turn. Sorry. Yeah, I have to charge this laptop. Just 1 second, but you can start talking.
Okay. Well, me and Jeremy are probably going to talk about the presentation I did earlier in the week about intelligence and microorganisms. But yeah, I thought the presentation went pretty well. I spent like a lot of one day, really trying to put everything together for it. Something I've kind of wrote about it a few times over the past few years, but this doing the presentation kind of allowed me to put everything together and just show all the evidence in detail. So I mean, I wanted to. So I ended up covering ciliates, bacteria, and viruses. So yeah, what was your? I mean, what did you think about all of it?
I think it's good. You provided good evidence. But atheist evolutionists have a counter argument to that, but their counter argument is weak. And we don't have time to. Actually, I have no time because I have something to do. I have
Okay.
to. Your evidence is almost irrefutable. No, it's irrefutable.
Well, see, I
The
mean, I don't think they're going to be
evidence.
able. I don't think they're going to be able to refute it necessarily because I mean it's hard for them to poke holes in it because of all the sources were secular. I mean there was no. It's not like I just went to creation of sources and just cherry picked everything.
Yes.
But what were you going to say?
I said they can guess how it evolved.
Oh
They
yeah,
can,
yes, yeah,
based on what's happening today, they could infer what's happening today to your examples and apply it to the past. Again, uniform. It's some kind of uniformitarianism. So it's a guess, and they call
yeah.
it science.
And I think another one argument they may bring up is they try to ask like, well, why are you saying God did it? That's probably another thing someone might bring up. They probably say, well, they're intelligent, but yeah, why did God? Why does that mean God did it? I think that's probably gonna be their other argument. Um, I mean, I haven't really had anyone comment on the video yet, really making too much of an argument. But yeah, I mean, I'm assuming that's what they probably would say, if they went into detail. So,
God
but
did
yeah,
it.
yeah, they're probably gonna just say that I'm making assumptions and stuff like that. But I
We
mean,
don't say God did it anymore. Sometimes we do, but evolutionists would say evolution did it.
yeah. Well, see, the thing is, though, it's kind of like an inference from the data. You're inferring things like, you infer like the evidence suggests there's a designer. It's not God of the gaps. It's just the evidence is leading. The designer is the best conclusion you can come to, and that's kind of the mistake I think that they make a lot of times. It's not God of the gaps where we just say, well, we don't know, therefore God did it. It makes the most sense to suggest that some kind of designer was behind it.
Yeah, I read evolutionary literature almost every day for the past 15 years. And wow, the way that they describe some of the things they discovered, and even they even say the word design. It looks wonderful. Wow, wow, wow. It looks designed, but it's not.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that the problem I have, with some of their
So
worldview is that
who's biased now? Huh?
it's like,
And
well, a lot of the problem is like, where they have like where they go by methodological naturalism, but see that I think in some ways that keeps them from concluding that God was involved because they automatically just discard that suggestion because it's supernatural.
you remember what Paul Davis said? Science starting point is naturalism. Science wasn't like that before. Atheist evolutionists hijack science. Science before, those founders of science, like Isaac Newton, they were fair. Their starting point was fair, naturalism and supernaturalism. Right now, naturalism is what's left, and discard supernaturalism. So if they can't explain something, they just say, we can't explain it. Maybe next time. Or they'll say, we do not explain abiogenesis. That's their excuse.
Well, see, one thing I was thinking about is I've heard several evolutionists talk about just how easy it was. I mean, they don't necessarily say it was easy, but they're just talking about how easy it was that life got started. And I don't, huh?
How easy it is that life started.
Or they're saying that it kind of started.
The RNA hypothesis has been modified so many times.
Well,
Alone,
it's
only
not
alone
as easy as I
RNA
think it
alone.
is. I
Because they
mean,
don't. Yeah,
if
sorry.
it says if it's okay. I mean, I'll just say this real quick, then you can say what you're going to say. If it's so easy for them to if it was so easy for life to get started, then why can't it just be replicated over and over and over in a lab? Why is it that no one has actually been able to create life if it was just so easy for life to have started? And another thing, if it was just easy for life to arise, then why didn't it start numerous times? Why don't we have just numerous different lineages of organisms? I mean, why is it just they I mean, that's two things I want to bring up. When they say, when they just talk about how it's just supposedly so easy for life to have gotten started.
Yeah,
And I think a lot of it's just a lot of it is their bias, and that's what they want to be true.
yeah.
But yeah, what
But
you can say what you're gonna say.
I thought you're gonna talk about your presentation.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. I'll go a little bit more in depth into that.
But I'd like to say later.
Okay,
I have 20 more minutes.
20
Yeah,
minutes.
yeah. I have 20 more minutes. Then I have to go.
Okay,
20 minutes.
but yeah, I mean, I think what was most surprising to me is that the especially the ciliates or the paramecium or paramecia and the bacteria, they could be classically conditioned, like psychologically almost, and they could pretty much learn. Like that one study, they gave them one sugar and they automatically expect another one, the second sugar. And when they stopped giving them the second sugar, they didn't prepare for the sugar anymore. It's like they had learned and adapted, to not expect that other sugar. And I covered it a little bit more in my detail in my presentation, but it's just that's something that really I don't think people a lot of people just would be like, you can't condition stuff like that. I mean, they don't have a nervous system, they don't have a brain. I mean, how could they be conditioned? But I mean, obviously they can, and it really is it is amazing just to, that even something that is considered so simple can be conditioned like that, and that they have all this intricacy built into them that probably people didn't expect. Some people still probably don't expect that to be the case. And another thing that was really the most, I think, interesting about it, well, I'm not saying it's the most interesting, but it was probably the best evidence is how viruses are able to communicate with each other in the way that they do, considering that they're not even considered living organisms by a lot of scientists, and like they're able to like I need to find this source again. Let me hold on. I'm going to go to Google Slides and I'm going to pull up my presentation. That way I can just read it in full, or I will let me see. Okay, let me hold on. Let me get out of this. I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully, okay. Let me see. Is this screen share? Okay. Is it sharing my screen for you?
Yeah, very small.
Okay. Let me go to. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. But this was what let me go. I think this was kind of the most, probably the best evidence, in my opinion, was this one at the very end, talking about how viruses can decide, whether or not they need to kill a host or let it live, so they don't, kill off the host too quickly where they can't survive. Is it this one or is it another one? Yeah, it says the molecule we discovered enables each generation of viruses to communicate with successive generations by adding to
It's
concentrations.
lagging. It's lagging. I
It's,
think
it's
it's
lagging.
lagging. Yeah.
Okay, are you able to see the screen? Can you hear me?
Yeah. It's the screen is also so small actually, but I
Hmm.
can hear you. But there's kind of distortion in your sound.
Is it? There's distortion right now.
It's consistent your sound, but there's kind of like an echo. Is echo the word? A
Yeah,
very
yeah.
very harsh echo.
Hmm. Um, does it sound okay right this second, or does it sound? I mean, can you hear me okay?
Still the same.
There's still an echo.
Yeah,
All right.
it's still the same.
Okay.
Still a problem.
Hmm. Let me stop sharing for a second. I'm going to. Okay, stop sharing my screen. Let me go to. Hold on. Let me. I'm going to go out and then I'm going to come back and see if that. I'm going to see if that's going to help. Okay, hold on. Okay, does it sound better?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know what was going on with that. I really don't know what's causing my mic. I don't know if it's just the mic that's messed up or what exactly.
We don't know. We are not technicians. We don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and share my screen again. I'll try to read it. Let me hit share screen. Okay. Let me go to present. Okay. The second quote. It was talking about how viruses can talk to each other. They leave like posts for their descendants that helps them, and the viruses read the posts that they leave, and it helps them to decide how to proceed with infection. And yeah, I'll just read the second quote really quick, and then we can talk about it. It says at the beginning of infection, it makes sense for the viruses to go to the fast replication, kill the host route. But if they are too gung ho, there won't be any hosts left for future generations of viruses to infect. At some point, they need to switch strategies and become dormant. The molecule we discovered enables each generation of viruses to communicate with successive generations by adding to concentrations of the arbitrium molecule. Each virus can then count how many previous viruses have succeeded in infecting host cells and decide which strategy is best at any point in time. And that was probably one of the more amazing pieces of evidence from the presentation, especially considering how, people would probably say, viruses are just so simple, but they can actually communicate and with each other. And to me, it's just fascinating. And it brings me back to there's this professor of this was a professor of molecular microbiology and immunology, and they said viruses are very intelligent. They can think. They do things that we do not expect. They adapt to the environment. They change themselves in order to survive. It's just interesting, seeing a like professor saying something like that because it's but someone that studies them up close has come to that same conclusion. That there is some intelligence there. It's not like human intelligence or like a conscious intelligence. They're more like robots or computers. It's like a I guess they're like the robots or computers of God's creation, kind of. And I think that it is amazing that I don't think this type of stuff would be predicted by people even today. If you just ask somebody, would you really think that viruses could do this? Would you think that bacteria can be conditioned? They say like, no, you got to be kidding me. But I mean, it is true though. I mean, there are studies that confirm stuff like this, and I really think it's very great evidence for creation, and yeah, and it's something that really interests me too. So I really wanted to do a presentation on this, because I don't think that it's really a well-known piece of evidence. This is what I had said, in my actual video, and I think that it is. I talked with I remember in one of Standing's debates, I asked a question about bacteria and viruses being intelligent. I think it was RJ and Jackson Wheat, and they both were kind of like saying like they can't be intelligent, and
Who?
RJ Downard and
Those
Jackson Wheat.
animals, those atheist animals.
I mean, this was like back months ago. It was like in a Q&A for Standings, one of his debates. I'm not, and then the one he had the debate with Erica. I asked her if she would consider the intelligence for bacteria evidence for design, and she was saying we would have basically said we have to wait and see if it's actually intelligence or if it's just chemical signals. But I mean, considering that pretty much everything in our bodies are chemical signals, I don't really think that would rule out intelligence. Or so much of what in us is your chemical signals, so it's not really. I mean, I don't think that just because it's chemical signals, I don't think that rules out there being intelligence there. It's just how it operates. But I don't think that they really know a lot about the topic. I'm not saying that in a mocking way. I'm just saying I don't think that they really knew a lot about the research done, that shows all of this kind of sophistication with the microorganisms. So I think that it's something that I hope creationists more in the future start to use more, because I think that it is a good piece of evidence to use. I'll stop sharing the screen. I think I pretty much covered all I wanted to do for sharing my screen. I mean, yeah, I will stop. Yeah, there we go. But yeah, I think it's just not really a well-known piece of evidence, and I do think that it is something that's harder for evolutionists to refute, because of this intricacy. Probably would have arisen, like I said in the presentation, pretty far back in time. If cyanobacteria appeared like almost 4 billion years ago, I mean, this would have had to have risen pretty quickly under like a naturalistic scenario. And that was kind of the first part of my argument, saying that, in my opinion, it is a bit of it makes you wonder about. I would hope it would make them pause and wonder, could something like this evolve this quickly? I mean, not too long after the oldest rock was even recorded, they have traces of bacteria or cyanobacteria, and they have the ability to use photosynthesis. Let's see, that's something else that has to arise pretty quickly. And I don't know. I just don't. For one thing, I don't think it's be easy for life to start on its own. Anyways, I think it's almost impossible, based on what I've seen. It seems impossible.
Almost. Zero chance. Not almost.
Yeah, I guess I probably should have said zero. I guess I was just. I don't know. I mean, I chose the wrong choice of words. But yeah, another thing that I was thinking about that was in relation to this, and some in the Discovery Institute, there's an article by a physicist, and he was saying that life cannot get started because it would have to be in a state of high energy and low entropy. And he said that's a logical impossibility. Hold on, let me see if I can find the actual quote. It was on Evolution News, the website. I want to make sure I'm quoting him correctly. I don't know. I don't think it was. I don't think it was an old video. I think it was like from like last week or something. Like if I can't find it, I'll just have to. We can just keep talking. But I do want to try to find this. Let me see. I'm going to. I don't. Okay, here. Yeah, here we go. It says it's an article. It says physicist Brian Miller, two conundrums for strictly materialist views of biology. And he said nothing in nature will ever simultaneously go to both low entropy and high energy at the same time. It's a physical impossibility. Yet life had to do that. Life had to take simple chemicals and go to a state of high energy and low entropy. Excuse me. He said that's a physical impossibility. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that a lot of the atheist evolutionists actually understand how many hurdles would have to be overcome to actually have life just arise on its own. I mean, I think that they don't really, I don't know if it's that they don't realize it or if they just don't care and they just want it to be true. So that way, it allows them to keep their worldview. I mean, maybe it's both. I don't know. Maybe they do realize it and I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I thought that was an interesting quote that kind of relates to my argument, about all this like intelligence intricacy rising so quickly, and I think that kind of adds on to my argument a little bit, especially in the abiogenesis area, saying like you can't have low entropy and high energy at the same time. And I thought that was an interesting article. It's actually a video interview they did with him, but they have an article that puts two. He has two quotes that. We'll see. The first quote he said all mutations which have been observed, which are non-harmful, only allow for small-scale change, while all mutations which could potentially change the architecture of an organism have shown to be harmful. And that was his first quote, I guess, saying that the large-scale mutations are harmful. I mean that is true though. He's saying that like the only mutations that can, let's see. Yeah, he said all mutations which have been observed, which are non-harmful, only allow for small-scale change, but the bigger changes are harmful to organisms. And yeah, I thought that was an interesting quote. It was his name is Brian Miller. He was a physicist. I'm assuming he's an intelligent design proponent. I haven't heard of him until that article. I don't believe so. But yeah, yeah. At some point with maybe discussing the topic of my presentation in more detail or something. But I'll just see how it goes. I mean, I may decide to do it. I may not. So, but yeah, I mean, I do think it's an interesting topic and it's something that I wish that excuse me, creationist organizations would kind of research a little bit more. I think it would be a kind of a strong area for them. But yeah, that
Yeah,
was
but I think they did. I think they did. It's impossible that they did that. They did
what they.
research.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I just don't really see a whole lot of that many articles on the topic. I don't really. But yeah, that is something I think maybe there are some maybe intelligent design articles on it. I know there's more. There seems like there's more secular papers for that topic than there are for like creationist articles over it. I mean, I haven't really. I don't know if I've looked at creationist sites on that too much, but it seems like those are most the greatest evidence or like the greatest proponents for saying that they're intelligent or like secular scientists.
Yeah,
So
they
that's
can say it, but they cannot admit. They cannot admit. You already know.
yeah. I mean, and I just think that in a way, I think that that worldview just kind of holds them back because they're just not wanting to accept something. Or well, it's more like like I said earlier, is that it kind of just keeps them from accepting it because if it's supernatural, then they're like, well, it can't be true unless we had to discard it, and I think that kind of can be a hindrance, I guess, in science to a point because you aren't really considering every possibility. You're just considering one possibility and not the other. And so, I mean, you're not going to see anyone suggest, or it's very unlikely you'd say hear the scientists say, yeah, maybe an intelligent agent was involved in this because it's not allowed. This really So, but I mean, I do think that maybe some of the scientists do believe that there could be, I guess, some intelligent agent was involved. They just don't mention it because it may. I guess. I mean, my theory is that it could damage their reputation. People would probably get pissed off if they.
We get fired.
Yeah, because there is I think it was like maybe like Paul Davies. He said he had mentioned maybe
The
they.
starting point of the starting point of science today, unlike before, is naturalism only. Before it was fair. Before it was supernatural and naturalism.
Yeah, but I think
Today,
didn't he have a quote though that he said something like life looks like it's intelligently designed, but it wasn't
it
or
was
something?
Dawkins. It was Dawkins who said that.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, I think that it does kind of relate to I mentioned this in my presentation, Romans 1:20, which is basically that God can be known through what He has made, and that and in this day and age, with all of this advancement, it's probably easier than ever to see God through what He's made, and that it's basically just saying everybody is without excuse because he can be known through what he's made. I mean, it's obvious that there's a designer, and that therefore people have no excuse. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I think that there may be some people that are kind of like closet, not necessarily creationists, but they may have a view that maybe something was involved in designing life, but they may just not really come out and say it. Um,
Yeah. But
because go ahead.
no, I just wanna say a little thing, just quick.
Okay.
Even if evolution is true, it is still impossible without the guidance of God. That is why we have theistic evolutionists. Theistic evolutionists today, they don't want to be called theistic evolutionists anymore. You know what they want people to call them now?
What?
Evolutionary creationists. They want to be called evolutionary creationists now.
Theistic evolutionists want that?
Huh?
Or you said theistic evolutionists want that, or like atheist evolutionists?
I mean, theistic evolutionists today don't want to be called theistic evolutionists anymore.
Oh,
They
okay.
want they want to label themselves as evolutionary creationist.
Yeah.
Okay. And lastly, because I have to go,
Okay.
even if evolution is true, like I said, it's impossible if there was no divine intervention, whether during evolutionary history or before evolution started. God produced the perfect mixture of materials for evolution to go unguided all the way. Either God intervened in evolutionary history, or he mixed the perfect chemicals up divinely at the start so that evolution can proceed without his intervention. So, if evolution is true, either creation is true, of course, but even if evolution is true, there needs to be a God too. So atheism do not rely on evolution because evolution is impossible without God. also. So either way, there is a God. You are trapped.
Yeah, I
That's
agree.
you are cornered. And there's still old Earth creationism. We have three of us. You, Ross, old Earth creationism, and there are over 1,000 fine-tuning design parameters in the universe alone. 1 to 10, accident maybe. 1,000? No. There is a God. That is why you need the multiverse, for example. So you are dead. Either way, you are trapped. That is why you lose debates against old Earth creationists and evolutionary creationists. That's all. That's all. I have to go a
Okay.
little bit.
Okay. How much time do you have left?
1 minute, five, as quickly
Okay.
as possible.
Okay. Well, we can go ahead and just wrap up because I think we got a lot covered today. I really enjoyed doing this hangout though because it kind of allowed us to talk about things pretty in good detail. So maybe we can do another hangout sometime, and I can get maybe you and maybe Standing for Truth and whoever wants to join. Maybe we can do something. Um, but yeah, we'll have to see when we can make the next video. So but if you're ready to end it, we can go ahead and just call it a night.
Yeah, I'm
All
ready
right.
to end.
Okay. Well, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Hopefully, I'll make a new video within a week or two. Or I'm not sure exactly when I'm going to make another video, but just tune in for that. And thanks again. God bless.